Welcome to Series 4, Video 2 from AcademicEnglishAcademy.com. English pronunciation, where do I begin? Let's begin with the letters that give us trouble. Hi everyone, welcome back. And this is our second pronunciation video, so we are going to start where we left off last week with the letters that give us trouble and go from there. So let's take a look at the purpose of this video before we begin, because there's some things I really want you to understand. I want to give you a general introduction to the changes that some letters make in the English alphabet. Okay, so the words in this video are words that most ESL students have trouble with. Okay. There are also some words, you'll see them highlighted in red. They are the words that I'm teaching you. I'm pre-teaching you them for next week's lesson. Of course, to show you the letters that change their sound and to prepare you for next week's lesson. And the last one's most important. This is just an introduction so that when you meet these words, you're not surprised by them the way new ESL students are when they come to America. And they don't understand the changes in the letter sounds, okay? But to truly learn English, my pronunciation videos and Louise's pronunciation videos are not always going to be like this. They're going to be part of bigger lessons that have reading, writing, listening, and speaking along with the pronunciation, okay? So next week's lesson there's going to be a lot of work involved, and that's how you're going to truly learn English really well. So you should recognize this slide from last week's video, okay? I added 2 more problem letters, H and W, and each slide is going to be about some of the words that these letters belong to and when they change their sound. Okay, so we're going to start with the sounds of letter A. There is what we call the long sound, and if you remember from last week, A is a vowel. So we have here plain and place, A. They sound like the name of the letter A. We, in this case, the long sound, we say the letter says its name. Now short A, Anne, a woman's name in English, apple, Alabama, and this here, airplane, has both sounds. The air is a short vowel sound, and the A is the long vowel sound. And Anne and Alabama are in red because they're part of next week's lesson. Now here are the unexpected sounds that the letter A makes or doesn't make. Here we have the word read. The A is actually not pronounced, it's silent. Please, again, silent A. And deaf, again, silent A. Many times, I will never say it all the time because rules in the English language don't always apply to every word. Anytime we have this EA combination, most of the time, the A will be silent. And let's take a look at some sentences, because the best way to really remember pronunciation is to use the words in sentences. Deaf people cannot hear. I enjoy reading. I traveled to America by plane. Practice these sentences until you sound almost like I do, okay? And again, read and deaf, they're part of next week's lesson, so they are in red. And all of the sentences are contain information that will prepare you for next week's lesson. Okay, the sounds of letter C. We have the expected sound, the k sound. Cat, cook, call, clock, and can. And let's take a look at our sentences. I need to cook dinner. Can I call you later? Now the unexpected sound. You should remember the consonant blends from last week, okay? Church, The C does not make the expected K sound. With the H, it's a different sound. Church, change. Now here, this C sounds like an S. Center, city. Here, the CH combination actually makes a K sound. This is character. Here we have two C's and they each make a different sound. Circus, S like an S and K like a C. Circus. And here is our more difficult word for next week. It's a state in the United States. Massachusetts. Remember your syllables. Massachusetts. And let's take a look at our sentences. I go to church on Sundays. I have never been to the circus. Practice these, okay? The sounds of letter E. Letter E, the expected sound, we have a long E that says its name, E. The word see, green, and please. Short E is the sound. Ever, Helen, and these words make both sounds. Fever, long and short, and even, long and short. Now the name, it's a woman's name in English, Helen, and the word fever are for next week's lesson. Now, here we have a couple of unexpected sounds. The silent E again, please. The E on the end is silent. The word 8, it's the number 8, but the E actually makes a long A sound. 8. Name, game, and people, silent E's. I put the word read here again because it's really a tricky word. It makes both sounds depending on the tense that you're using. If you say the word read, present tense verb, E, we say the long E, read. But if you are using this word in past tense, it's pronounced red, like the color. So we can have the sentence, I love to read, or I read over my narrative essay yesterday. The only way that you know if the sentence is past or present is by looking at the whole thing. And eventually it will become very easy for you. You might be confused right now, but soon this won't be a problem for you at all. Okay, the sounds of letter G. The expected sound is the G sound. Now, in a lot of pronunciation videos, you'll hear people say, talk about voiced and unvoiced sounds. I think that's a whole different lesson, so I'm not putting it in this video, but the sound of G, if you say the G sound, you can feel it in your throat. Put your fingers right here, G. You can feel it. Okay, that's how you know you're pronouncing it correctly with this sound. We have good, great, log, goal, Google, fingers, reading, the G on the end, speaking, okay. It was a good meal. I am practicing my pronunciation. Okay. And fingers and speaking are part of next week's lesson, so you want to make sure that you can say those words. Fingers, speaking. Now here, the unexpected sound, the G makes a softer sound. It's not the G sound, it's the J. And if you put your fingers here again when you're saying these names, George, Gerald, you do not have the same feeling in your throat. Language, a G and a J. Language. Gym. Laugh. This G and H combination actually make an F sound. Laugh. Thought. The G and the H are both silent. And sign. The G is silent. Again, sign is a word for next week. Okay, the sounds of letter H. The expected sound is the sound. Hot. And if you put your fingers on your throat, you will notice there's no strong sound. It's a voiceless consonant sound. Hot, help, cold. Again, the name Helen. Heavy. Hearing. Our sentence to prepare us for next week: if you lose your hearing, you are a deaf person. Now the unexpected sound. Again, remember the word church. Okay, this consonant combination. Thought, the T and H make a sound together. It's another consonant combination. You put your tongue between your teeth. Thought. For those of you that don't have this sound in your native language, like Spanish or Portuguese, you really need to practice that. It's not easy for you. Thought. 8, we have a silent H. Think. And high. One has the expected H sound. The second H is silent. High. Okay, the sounds of letter I. The expected long sound is I, as in sign. The word I, meaning myself. Ice. High again. She had a high fever. If you want to introduce yourself to people, hi, I am Christy. Nice to meet you. Practice that sentence with your own name. Now the unexpected sounds. We have the word live with the short sound, which is I, and with the long I. Okay, and the reason that I put an asterisk next to this word is because depending on the situation, it changes its meaning. So you can say I live in Europe, or I live, short I, next to my sister, and then the sound changes, or the meaning changes with the long I sound. I am watching a live soccer game. The dog is alive. Okay, notice the differences in meaning. Believe, silent I, and juice, silent I. Okay, you're going to come across words you've never seen before. I can't show you every single problem word. This is just to give you an introduction to something so you're not surprised when you come across these interesting or strange looking words, okay? Okay, so let's go look at the sounds of letter L. Letter L, the expected sound is oh. The tip of your tongue is going to touch the roof of your mouth. Oh, practice that if that sound is not in your native language. Blind, blood, love, learn, listen, old. And blind is a word for next week's lesson. Blind people cannot see. Now the unexpected sound. All of these 4 words have a silent L. Talk, walk, half, calf. The L is not pronounced in any of those words. I will meet you in half an hour. The calf is 2 days old. Practice that again and again until it's starting to become natural for you. Okay, the sounds of letter O. We have the long O, open, close, hose, go. The short O is like an ah sound, very similar to letter A. Sometimes people confuse the A and the O sound. Oven, long. The oven is hot. Now the unexpected sound. In these 3 words, the sound is like the short U. Book, look, and cook. Here we have a silent O in the word touch. Just the U makes it sound. And here is our sentence. Blind people use their sense of touch. And also the O in people is silent too. The sounds of letter T. Letter T, the expected sound is a t sound. So to, meaning I go to the store. To as the number 2. Time, talk. And let's read our sentences. Sign language allows people to talk with their hands. I will talk to you tomorrow. I have 2 classes. Again, repeat, okay? Practice that until it starts to become natural for you. The unexpected sound, we saw this already with the letter H, is the th, think, thin. And here we have 2 words, pretty and letter. Now, we don't say these T's. In America, when you have a double T in a word, it actually makes a D sound. So this is pretty or letter. If you pronounce your strong T with a double T, people are going to notice because we don't say that. We don't say pretty or letter. It's pretty, letter. I think I have a test on Friday. Those are pretty flowers. Okay, the sounds of letter W. We're almost done. The letter W has the expected sound of W. Worry, work, worry, was, went, weather, window. Anne Sullivan was a teacher. She went to live with Helen Keller. Now, if any of you know who Helen Keller is, she's a very famous American, you'll know what our lesson is about next week. The unexpected sound. There are several words that have a silent W. The W is not pronounced. Wrist, right here, your wrist. Wrestle, like the sport of wrestling. Wrinkle, and sword. Wrestling is a sport. Pirates fight with swords. Okay, letter Y. Now, letter Y is interesting because it makes many different sounds, more so than the other letters. Sometimes it's a vowel, sometimes it's not, okay? Letter Y, the expected sound is the Y sound. You can feel it in your throat. Year, yarn, your, yours. That book is yours. Did you call your mom? Now the unexpected sound, remember the diphthong we talked about last week? We have the OY blend, boy, toy, decoy. Sometimes it makes the long E sound as an angry. Now here we have, in each of these words is pronounced by. The Y makes a long I sound. By, and by. This is as in the book was written by Sarah. Buy as in bye, see you later. And buy, I need to buy a new computer. The word symbol makes the Y here makes a short I. Symbol. Here we have our sentence for next week. Angry is a word for next week. In the sentence, Helen Keller was an angry child. Okay, so for next week, practice the words in red for next week's lesson. Practice everything, but especially the words in red. Subscribe to our channel, Academic English Academy on YouTube, so you can be working right along with us every week and improving your English. And happy speaking. Thank you for watching.